Hi guys, thanks for joining us. My name's Tony Reid from Hitachi Data Systems and I'm CTO of our Financial Services Business Unit. And this afternoon I want to talk to you about a hot topic in financial services, and that's open banking APIs. So let's start off by thinking about where these things have come from, and I guess there's two threads there really. The first is in the UK market specifically. The Competition and Markets Authority started a process a couple of years ago where they were investigating competition in retail banking. They produced their report towards the end of last year, and that incorporated a number of recommendations and requirements. But one of the key ones was to improve competition in retail banking, the traditional banks needed to offer the ability to expose their customer data to third parties that would deliver retail banking services to those customers. So that was the first thing. Second then, along the same time, the European Commission started their second review of the Payment Services Directive. And again, lots of recommendations and requirements in that directive, but one of the key ones was to improve retail banking across all the banks in Europe. Those traditional banks needed to expose their customer data with customer consent, expose their customer data to third parties to deliver superior services. So when we talk to our existing banking customers, we talk to them about a number of different topics, and this prospect of open banking APIs falls into kind of four categories. So first is compliance. These are requirements from the CMA and directive from the European Commission. Those need to be in place at the start of next year, so the banks have to comply to those requirements. Second is the customer experience. There's a real push at the moment in retail banking to deliver a new and improved customer experience, which probably hasn't changed very much over the last 10 years. So this offers the ability not only for the third parties that will exercise those APIs, but for the existing banks themselves to deliver a better customer experience. Third is competition. Obviously, the whole purpose of these open banking APIs is to allow other service providers to utilize the data through those APIs and deliver a different set of services to those retail banking customers. And the last, the fourth, that actually doesn't come up very often, but we think is really, really important, is the potential operational risk that building and exposing the API layers places on the traditional bank systems. And that's part of what we're going to talk about this afternoon. So let's think about that now. So if we think about our customers' existing kind of core systems, no bank today started life as they are now. All of the banks have built up over a number of many, many years from mergers and acquisitions. They've all delivered lots of different services over their existing core systems over the years, from mortgages to lending to insurance services and so on and so on. So those systems have become incredibly complex, interlinked, interjoined and incredibly complex. They are quite traditional architectures and they scale up. What I mean by that is if they run out of bandwidth in these systems to deliver new services, then the way that they fix that is to install and implement a bigger piece of iron, a bigger system or a bigger storage device. And those things are capital intensive and take a long time to make productive. And then the third area is the way that these systems are managed and changed. Because they're so complex, the banks have to make sure that those systems are reliable and secure, and therefore they've wrapped a lot of very rigorous change control and change management process around those systems. And often when we talk to the banks, it's very clear that any major change, which exposing these APIs certainly is a very major change, any major change kind of equates to risk, and that will worry the banks. So we kind of asked the question, given the attributes of your existing core systems, would you build an API layer on top of those systems and expose that data directly from your core systems? And there's one other aspect that's probably worth thinking about here. The banks have a pretty good idea of how many transactions those core systems need to process. As soon as we open up that API, that becomes completely unpredictable. The amount of workload, the volume and shape of the transactions that those APIs will generate is completely unpredictable at the moment. So there's another element of risk there that the banks need to worry about. So how could they address that then? Our view is that, that the likely approach is that they'll build what we might call a database extension or a caching layer. And as a customer consents and requires the bank to expose their data to third parties, then they will extract that data out of their existing core systems. They'll transform it in such a way that it will work in new style file systems and databases, and then use that data to populate that database extension. And there's a number of benefits in doing that. One, they can pretty quickly meet the requirements of the PSD2 and the Competition and Markets Authority directives and provide the requirements of those specific APIs. This will scale out, so as they add more customers to this process, then they can very easily provide scale as they deliver those services. And probably more importantly, the banks will want to start to use that API process to add new services. And we could envisage that they will start to incorporate data from lots of different data sources. So as well as their traditional data, they'll be using things like geospatial data and weather data and social media data, so that they can start to deliver a very rich set of services to their existing customers through these APIs, and potentially monetize those new services and develop a new revenue stream. So how easy is it to do that then? All of the banks will have a number of tools that they use today to extract data out of systems and populate business information systems, data warehouses and that kind of thing. And they will have been doing that for a number of years. But actually, extracting data from traditional systems and transforming it and blending it in such a way that you can use it in these new, very agile scale-out systems is actually a different process. And a lot of the traditional tools, although they've been very good at doing what they've been doing for the last 15 years, actually aren't particularly good at these new style transformation processes. And the speed at which they can do that is really, really important. Some of the tools that we have available to us through one of our software utilities called Pentaho is really expert at transforming those traditional sources into new style. And again, very importantly, being able to blend different data sources so that they can offer a richer set of services. So the bridge between these traditional systems and the new style systems is really, really important, and one that we think that we can offer a number of benefits to. So that's the way that we believe that customers will address this requirement. They need to support those APIs round about the start of next year, so they've not got too much time to get that done. And because that's just a cost to them right now, we do believe that very quickly the more forward-thinking banks will want to extend the capability of those APIs and develop that new revenue stream and monetize them. So we think this is a really exciting time, not only for the new fintech startups that are kind of very passionate about the new style service that they want to deliver and the customer experience that they want to deliver, but just as importantly, the traditional banks that have all of a sudden, through these new directives, have been given an opportunity to really deliver something new to their customers. So again, very exciting time. We're very interested in helping our existing customers go through this process. And if you'd like more information, we'd be delighted if you contact us. Thanks.